As early as I'm able to remember, I have been a fan of public transit as well as a fan of auto racing. And you would probably think that the two would not go together after events like this.
Unbelievable, and it's going to be an issue on the front straight here at Baltimore.
And this. However, those are rare and comedically unfortunate incidents. There's actually a little bit of a silver lining between the two, as agencies like GRTC and Indigo have helped a carless me take me to the racetrack. And now, we do it closer to home, here in the streets of Washington, DC. And so we begin here on the A27. Now, I was hoping to see if I can take this trip using buses only. But after realizing that there has been a couple of detours that aren't even affected by the Grand Prix, I've decided to play it safe and at least contribute to the 1 million trips that WMATA will end up having for this event. However, I will not be using Metro to go back to Northern Virginia. And this gives me a slow and steady moment to take a look at the progress going on with the second Long Bridge, which for those who are out of the loop, is a project where they're going to add a secondary bridge that's meant for passenger trains only, while the old Long Bridge that you see right there will be used for freight. And this will be a major help for train services like VRE and Amtrak, as the two aim to increase more passenger train services in the next decade. And speaking of VRE, wait till you see what I'm getting on later this video. Yeah, that's a bit of an anticlimactic spoiler, but still a very historic moment. But anyways, if you've seen this channel long enough, you will notice the struggles of me trying to take transit to a racetrack. Indianapolis was thankfully not too much of a hassle, but when you leave the track, it does become a little bit of a traffic nightmare. And for Richmond, it's not that frequent, and since the races are held at night, it conflicts with the last remaining buses of GRTC for the night, meaning you have to pay for Lyft when you get back to the hotel, or walking across Broad Street in the middle of the night and then realizing you have to walk over a highway bypass with no sidewalk. Totally not traumatized about that, but thankfully we're in DC. And yeah, we're kind of cheating because it is a street course, but still, it is a cakewalk. And I get to fill in a childhood void in seeing a race within the National Capital Region.
Alright, here we are at Federal Triangle, and as you can see, no ventilation. But, yeah, Federal Triangle, home of the world's smallest escalators, or at least the system's smallest escalators. Also, I call this we have Philadelphia Center City Station at home. Kind of looks like a copy of or to better explain, if you go outside here, it really does remind me of the SEPTA Center City Station, but just with more DC brutalism. I mean, because the two stations, they kind of lead into a circular plaza. Oh, this one's, is it circular? Kinda. Like 3/4 of a circle. So in case people are wondering, if you go down this direction and then you make a left, that is where the White House will be. And then further back, that will be where the National Mall will be. Oh, the greenery here. The foliage, I guess. Now we're leaving the Federal Triangle area. You can see the Washington Monument. And there's a little bit of a type of nitpick. Are we really doing this with the flag? So we're gonna have like a flag within a flag and then the Freedom 250 logo. But anyways, look at that. LFAs, I believe. All of them. And I think that's where like say the gates are. Alright, after a very tedious like process with the TSA like stuff, we're now ready. An F1 car. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute, it's unattended. Literally somebody can just ramsack. Oh wait, now I know why nobody's like ransacking it. It's full of Dasani. To make it worse, like $4.50 for a Dasani water bottle. Alrighty, so I have left with goodies right here. Alright, and now part B, which I thought it would work. Like, you know, it's like over, so we could literally take a cabbie back home. But no, it looks like that one's out, not in use. I guess that makes sense. Another cooling bus. Again, funny enough, they're using the LFAs. Just realized these streets are so empty. Oh, wait, I forgot. This is the road to the White House. I'm not trusting that cabbie, but let's take a look. Alrighty. Ironically, I'm more closer to the White House. And I think around the corner we should have a cabbie station. Alright then, here we go. Got our trusty seed. He got a bicycle. You know what, it looks like an old bus, but I'm like liking this. I don't know why, but it just feels more comfortable in a ride. Even though I'm short and it still feels like I have to like reach up, there's like something about it that feels good. Look at that. Biking is a vibe. Boop da boop da boop. Boop da boop da boop. Bow bow boop bap boop bap boop. Boop bap boop bap boop. Bap bap. Yo, this is Gimme and I forgot the lyrics. Well, I'm just gonna do something. I'll just make up a limerick. Yeah.
Yeah, I sincerely apologize for that.
You know, along with DJ's Pete's sake, I also want to thank Sammy Marco and 29 down the line for bike content. I don't know, it changed my perspective and I feel like I could probably do this more. Anyways, I'm heading to the Pentagon. We're not going to do filming for obvious reasons. So, and plus I'm tired of riding on one hand. So anyways, we'll be back in just a moment. I'm trying my best to avoid filming the Pentagon, but look at the vibes of that. Roslyn. Wow, Pentagon City at night, that's a vibe. You did not hear me call Pentagon City Roslyn. No, you did not. Here we go. Back in the normal place where I can film. Yes, I could have gone to the park, but out of fear of not wanting to disrupt like a lot of people, because it is a very popular park. This is a much more quieter and safer. Right then, Metro A. I can hear Metro and art. Everybody loves art. Almost close. Gonna be getting some stuff at Giant and then off home. Very successful day so far. Checked on the app and it looks like the Cabby station that's near the Giant is in use. Has open slots, so we're good. The weird Q jump of the A1X. It kind of works. Also works on dash buses too. And there's the Giant. On to buy stuff. That's much more cheaper than the near $20 hot dog drink combo that I got. Finally, we have docked it, and I gotta say, this model is so much easier. These are quite tedious, the newer ones. I think they're the newer ones, but yeah. Anyways, on to get food. Alrighty, everybody. Switched up to the brand new Willpower t-shirt. Hopefully, like, all what's going on with TWG gets resolved. I really can't say much about it. Long story short, one of the investors got in a bit of some trouble, so we'll see where it turns out. But anyways, I'm back home. Got myself this nice cheesecake little cuppy thing right here, and some steaming hot wings. Nice, affordable, and it barely broke like $10 actually, because these were actually on discount. But anyways, I generally did enjoy this event. It's not much political narcissism, as I call it, from a certain somebody, because obviously that's going to be all transferred tomorrow, because there's like 7 flyovers, the motorcade where he's going to go around a track, and of course he has to give the trophy to the driver. But anyways, I'll probably not show that, any of that, and just focus on like say the race and then just other transit shenanigans, because there's some pretty interesting ones tomorrow. So with that being said, we'll call it a night until we meet again, which is a line that I took from Marty Reed, one of the announcers for like IndyCar and actually NASCAR too. But yes, till we meet again.
And we meet again. Fancy seeing y'all here as I travel across what is my most favorite station in all of WMATA in terms of aesthetics, Arlington Cemetery. And once again, we got to flex on the idea that we can take a metro to a racetrack, which in the US is actually very rare. And it makes it worse knowing the fact that there is currently 16 metros, soon to be 15, as Cleveland is downsizing to light rail. Speaking of light rail, you can take one of the LA light rail to the Long Beach Street Circuit, and you can take one of the Portland Max light rails to the Portland International Raceway. And to add more transit foaminess, the Detroit People Mover kind of circles around the track. And let's not forget that the start and finish straight of the Markham Street Circuit is literally in front of the Unionville GO station. And also, you could get away with taking a Metro link to Gateway Motorsports Park, but the walk would be tedious, and even if you take a local bus along with that, the walk would still be tedious. So we still got a long ways to go to bridge the gap between motorsports and transit, but I do believe that it is absolutely possible to unite the two.
Yeah, as much as I want to use the bus to get to the race, one, it takes a while, like maybe like an hour extra. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4 LFAs. Kind of sad, but that's kind of like their current usage right now. Alright then, we'll just get in line. And regrettably, I forgot that it rained overnight, so hopefully it's not too muddy.
People to moments that matter, from the Great American State Fair to local celebrations. This summer, those moments are everywhere. 50 years of exploring, commemorating, and learning from the past to inspire the future. The trains have changed, the connections haven't. Keep connecting to the moments that matter with Metro.
These days you DC for the second street 250 Grand Prix band starting to line the streets. The best vantage spot for the race coming up later on today, of course. Our warm-up session coming up at 9:15. Grandstands already filling up.
This we're calling Economy Plus. These are the business class, quite literally. Second place. Now go power. There he is. Here it is, Kyle. Our win mark. And now we did it. A lifelong dream of me wanting to go to a race super close to Washington DC, whether it be the one in RFK, nope. Would it be the one in Baltimore? Nope. Literally right here at the mall. I don't see any exits like on that side, so I'm gonna this is gonna be like a 0 type minute transfer to see if I can get the LaFont train. Otherwise, I'll just try to film proof that VRE is literally running on Sunday. Full service on Sunday. Well, quasi full service. You know what I'm saying. All right, then I'm gonna see if I can like express my way from the Metro to VRE. All right, this is gonna be a quick trip. Hopefully this works out well, and then I need to get the one that goes from the yellow. Yeah, one of the exits from the yellow, which is the only one that the yellow line exits, because that's the one closest to the train station, and that way I can just order a VRE ticket. This works. Yep. All right. Can't really run too much. I'm like slightly exhausted, but should be close to the other LaFont station. All right. Finally heading out of the station. The entrance that's closest to the station, to the other station. I'm literally the only person walking the other direction. I love it. I love that. We love people going the other direction. There we go. LaFont. The other one. There we go. Further proof. There's a bit of a delay, so perfect. Perfect. This works for me a lot. Kiosk. Let's go ahead and again purchase tickets. Oh yeah. That's how dehydrated I am. We're gonna go to backlit. You want full fares. Validate. Do you want a receipt? Not necessary. Pay total dive. This will always be trick, but do not hit debit. Sometimes it causes issues. You hit credit, and then we pay. Go approve. And here it is. It's a brand new ticket. I'll show you all like the difference of the tickets in a future video. Trust me, they all tapped out 2026. That's coming soon. Behind me, there's going to be a fourth track that's going to be installed. So yeah, all the greenery is going to be going away, thus making this an island platform. Would it return to Amtrak? Become an Amtrak station again? Doubt it. I doubt it. And no, Step Up yes, Step Up is back, but Step Up does not mean that Amtrak would come to this station like in the past. So yeah. Also, these upgrades definitely need to happen, because look at these screens. They're like, I can barely see them. Also, before I forget, there's also going to be like, say, more improvements with like at least the interior, like I guess like the mezzanine foyer types, like down below, where it'll be like a little bit more accessible, and at least you'll have like shelter from downstairs. You know, had I not realized that there was a delay, though this was like super last minute, I would have definitely gone to Union, so that way I would have gotten like a lot more prettier views of the racetrack, which you can kind of see, but you know, it is what it is. I think this is probably going to be the first and only time I've ever used LaFont. Backlick Road, you'd be surprised at how many times I've used that station. And it is the least used station in all of VRE. Minus Clifton Day. Maybe Clifton Day beats it. There we go. History in the making.
You guys, something you want train right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now there is actually a VRE service on Sunday, and that is for Clifton Day on October. This has been covered from friends of the channel Cole Thompson, Ryan from 29 Down the Line, and from yours truly. And there has been plans for VRE to expand into the weekends, and they have considered doing a pilot program even prior to the opening of the second long bridge. However, out of an abundance of financial caution, they opted not to do that, unless they can find a very good reason to do it. And thankfully, the IndyCar race would be their best reason. And factoring in other events like the National Book Festival, the National Women's Soccer League, and Chuck Brown Day, it gave VRE a reason to try out a Sunday service. And as you just saw, you just needed to get some tickets at the kiosk or the app. Now, VRE did do a Saturday service for the 4th of July. However, that service is what you would call a true special event service, as you needed to get a ticket from Eventbrite, and they were only servicing one train for each line to and from DC, which is definitely understandable and reasonable. And thankfully, from what I've gathered, the prices were fine, unlike the flop that was Mark's Preakness trains. And you're probably wondering, wait, Mark ran trains for the Preakness? Well, they originally had plans to. So long story short, the Pimlico race course was currently under renovations, so they had to move the event to Laurel. And Mark decided that it would be a good idea to run train services from Camden and the Union stations to Laurel. And that would mark the first time that Mark would run Camden line services on a Saturday. And they had everything worked out except for one major issue. They overcharged it, and you had to get the tickets from Ticketmaster. This ultimately killed any interest, and it adds into the list of poor decisions that has been made by MDOT. I really did hope that Mark would have done a similar thing with the Brunswick services, but taking pages off of what VRE has done, but unfortunately that is not the case. Now, this is not the first time that we have seen train services to a race. Both Amtrak and North Carolina's DOT offered special event services to Rockingham Speedway, and it was met with a lot of success. And I'm just saying, but Richmond Raceway is near the Piedmont subdivision. Just saying. But anyways, I do remain hopeful to see what the results are, that it does lead into a positive trend. Maybe we can also see an enhanced Clifton Day service that would start from Manassas and go all the way to Alexandria, though that may conflict with some other issues such as the pause for progress repairs at Union Station. But maybe next year. There's always next year. Now, if they do this again, it does lead me to a lot of questions as to how they would pull this off again. There's still a lot of projects and construction work going on to help VRE and Amtrak, but it does mean that for the time being, there's a lot of service changes and or reductions that might make the weekend services a little bit tricky to pull off. They could short turn at Alexandria, so that might be their best bet. And maybe there should be one train running back and forth for each line in the morning and one train running back and forth for each line in the afternoon. But I'm not that big of a transportation expert. It's just a theory. A train theory. But anyways, as the saying goes, we are here and we can only do what we can do. Which in my case is to go to the least used station in all of VRE. That's right, everybody. We are going to Backlick Road.
Well, I'm here. I definitely gotta say this. So, I really do hope that in the future, transit can definitely be improved to get access to not just the DC Grand Prix, but to all other racetracks as well. I mean, but the fact that like VRE is willing to like contribute to this, along with Metro, WMATA, and like other services as well, like this is good. This is what we need. Like transit and motorsports can go hand in hand. Just don't remind them about Baltimore and San Jose, yeah. And there we go. I totally forgot that also every Sundays Backlick will have this flea market, which is really cool. Like literally something that people have been asking for ages. Transit to a flea market. This works. Not bad. Mostly just clothing and power tools, which kind of makes sense because like the area is very much an industrial type of area. So I get it. I mean, literally just like a lot of power tools, sports clothing. There was also like a mini tech store and jewelry. More cosmetics, and we're good. And of course, right behind me, a lot of foreign food markets, really good foreign food markets, as well as a world market as well. So you would expect me to get some really good food from those places, right? Right? Well, you guessed wrong. Yeah. Now, for the record, I would have definitely gotten food from there, but I just needed something quick to get and then take the bus quickly back home. I will say that they did kind of improved on their quality of the meals. So yeah, I can see why like Wendy's is going down a little bit. But aside from that, here's just a couple of final thoughts. I gotta say, I really just love the fact that we live in an area where there's so much transit accessibility, and we can literally take Metro, VRE, Capital Bikeshare, even the buses too, to get into an event like a race. But I really do hope that in the future we do see like more cities that do host like auto races, like Richmond right here, that they can like enhance services for like those special events. Like you could literally get this pulse like to the racetrack, and then it can just transfer like people all the way down to the maybe the transfer hub. There were like some, I guess what you call like special like event trolleys in the past, but that's kind of like they gone away probably like when the pandemic happened. But honestly, like if they did like a small like one-off service for like the races, like it would work. Also, since we're talking about Indy cars, we talk about Indianapolis, obviously. They have pretty solid BRT routes, and they could definitely like add in another line called the Green Line, where they can just like replace the 10, because the 10 runs very much every 15 minutes. That's very much how like the standard of BRT typically is. And in special events, they can do like a small deviation to like the speedway where they can board in or off board passengers. Like it can work. But honestly, this was such an awesome dream. Like I've always wanted to attend an IndyCar race. I already did last year, but to attend one just near where I live Like that really is like a dream come true. Like I really did wanted to go to the RFK Stadium in 2002. Obviously that didn't work. Baltimore didn't work. The rallycross races at RFK Stadium didn't even work as well. So, albeit very controversial circumstances, which I don't even agree with, like, at least for that event, a lot of it was mostly like kept at a minimum, and a lot of people just wanted to see racing, and they got to see a lot of good racing. And what was even cool is that, like, looking around, yeah, there were people wearing certain hats, but there were also people like wearing a lot of gear that actually leans toward the left. So honestly, it was such like a fun unifying event where we kind of droned out all the politics, and when it did happen, it was mostly ignored. And most importantly, I really think that Metro really did win. Obviously, they had some pretty good ridership this past weekend, and then they're actually going to get even better ridership for the next few days. Well, not like say to that high of a number, but they will definitely get like say a lot more like residual like riders, because of the fact that the streets are still going to be closed. So that means people are still going to use Metro. And then certainly there's going to be a lot of people complaining how they're going to park there, or how are they going to take their car to that area, which makes no sense, because literally you're just going to be parking somewhere else outside of that vicinity because the parking spots have already been taken. See, just use Metro. Just use buses. It all works. It really works. Eh? But anyways, we'll see what happens next year. See if there's another race coming down and more people using Metro and to take it to the race course. Heck, maybe we could see more transit services to racetracks. Looking at you, Richmond. Or maybe we see like say a racetrack where I live in Alexandria. You think that would work? Yeah. Well, so as we always say, and again I did steal this from like an IndyCar commentator, till we meet again, thank y'all for watching.